variable. So let's try to understand more about expenses, the dependent variable. We all know that expenses are nothing but the medical costs that each person charges to the insurance plan for each year. Sorry, for 1 year. So we have to check for normality before building linear regression model. This is because linear regression model fits best for a normal distribution. Of course, being statistics, that to MSc statistics students, you should know what is a normal distribution. It is nothing but a bell-shaped curve. Let's take an example. If you try to draw a distribution for, say, some 100 trees in a farm with respect to the number of coconuts in each tree, then it will generally be a normal distribution. That is, the number of coconuts present in a given tree will be within a particular range. There will only be few trees which will have coconuts less than or greater than the normal range. If we don't get a normal distribution, then it's better to try some other model other than linear regression. So you people know that first quartile means 0 to 25th percentile. Second quartile means 0 to 50th percentile, second quartile or median, and third quartile means 0 to 75th percentile. Fourth quartile is of course 0 to 100th percentile. Here we can see that the value in the third quartile is 16,640. What does it say? So for 75% of the people, the expenses are roughly around $17,000 or less. So minimum 1,122 means the minimum medical expenses for a person in the sample is $1,122 per year. It may be for one person or for many persons. So 75% of the people's medical expenses is within the range $1,100 to $17,000 approximately. We can also infer that the maximum medical expense is $63,770, which is approximately $64,000 per year. It may be for one person or for many people. We can also see that mean is greater than median. Mean is $13,270, which is greater than median, which is $9,382. As statistics students, you should be knowing that if mean is greater than median, then the distribution will be a right skewed distribution. Let's visually confirm it by drawing a histogram. Hist is an inbuilt function used to draw histogram. So here we have drawn the histogram of the dependent variable expenses inside the data frame insurance. As you can see on the right, we have a right skewed distribution. So if the mean is less than median, then it will be a left skewed distribution, and if the mean is equal to median, then it will be a normal distribution. Let's try drawing or analyzing some other independent variable in this data frame. So I have asked R to print the summary of the variable BMI. As you can see on the screen, the mean and median are almost same, 30.4 and 30.6. They are nearly equal. So the distribution should be a normal distribution. Let's check it. As you can see on the screen, we get a normal distribution for the independent variable BMI. Does anyone want to see the summary and histogram for any other variable? If you want, we can see it for uh, say region. Okay. Region is a variable of character data type, and hence it's returning the frequency. We will try for a numeric variable, say age. Even for age, the mean and median are almost similar, 39 and 39.21. So the histogram should be a normal distribution. Let's check it. So as you can see on the right side of the screen, though it's not a perfect normal distribution, it is an approximate normal distribution. So this slide talks about what we discussed just now. We have right skewed distribution for the variable expenses. 75% of people's medical expenses are in the range of $1,100 and $17,000. That is the minimum and third quartile values. Also, the tail of the distribution, or the remaining 25% of the people from 75th to 100th percentile, have medical expenses from $17,000 to $64,000 range. Nothing but the people between third quartile and maximum. So since the variable expenses has a right skewed distribution, it is not ideal for linear regression. We have to look for alternatives like nonlinear regression, SVM, random forest, or artificial neural networks. Of course, these are some of the alternatives available. In this study, we will be looking at linear and nonlinear regression. Though linear regression may not be suitable for this model, still we will use linear regression to have it as a base and check to what extent a model is better than linear regression. For example, if we are going to use nonlinear regression, then we should know by what extent nonlinear regression model is better than regression model, right? So for we will be building the regression model in order to use it as a reference value. As discussed earlier, regression models will work only when all variables are numeric. We have three variables which are of categorical or specifically nominal variables: sex, smoker, and region. As discussed earlier, these three have to be converted into numeric values and normalized to using dummy variables so that all values will be treated equally. As discussed earlier, the sample characteristics should be the same as that of the population's characteristics. Otherwise, the model built using this sample data won't be valid for the population. Now let's try to analyze the variable region in the data frame insurance. Here, table is an inbuilt function used to determine the frequency of unique values in a particular variable. As we all know, region has four distinct values: northeast, northwest, southeast, and southwest. So the inbuilt function table will return the frequency or number of patients in in each one of these four regions with respect to the sample data. Please don't get confused with table. Table doesn't refer to a table. So here data frame is the table. Here table means an inbuilt function that returns the frequency of unique values in a variable. Obviously a variable of character data type. Here region is a variable of character data type, a categorical, specifically nominal variable. So as you can see the output, the values are almost equal: 324, 325, 364, and 325 for northeast, northwest, southeast, and southwest regions respectively. So the population might be distributed in any manner. For this sample, random sample population, the population is almost equally distributed. Of course, since the random sample should reflect the characteristics of the entire population, we can definitely assume that the entire population of health insurance holders will be evenly distributed across all 4 regions of the United States. Now we will see how R's linear regression function handles these factor variables. So that is categorical variables. In general, if a regression model does not work, then people move to complex algorithms like random forest, artificial neural networks, SVM, etc. Generally, it's wise to try nonlinear regression and then move on to other models, because nonlinear regression is much more efficient in terms of both time and resources that it consumes relative to complex algorithms like SVM, random forest, and artificial neural networks. Before fitting a regression model to data, it will be useful if we can study the relationship of the independent and dependent variables. Obviously, as all of you know, if we are studying the relationship between one dependent variable and the independent variable, one dependent variable and one independent variable, then it's univariate analysis. If more than one independent variable is involved, then it is bivariate analysis. Here we are going to first do univariate analysis. That is, we are going to study the relationship between one dependent variable and one independent variable. For this, we are going to use a correlation matrix. So we will use the inbuilt function called COR available in R for this purpose. We can find the correlation for all variables, but in this case study, they have included only the numeric variables. Of course, we can include the other character data variables too. Let's try executing this command in R Studio. So you can see a correlation matrix on the screen. If you see here, the values, the positions with values 1 form a diagonal, and usually the upper part of the diagonal is considered for study. In the upper part of the diagonal, we have a total of 6 values. 3 values in the first row, 2 values in the second row, and 1 value in the third row. 3 plus 2 plus 1 equal to 6. Here we are particularly interested in the relationship between the dependent variable expenses and the independent variables age, BMI, and children. So let's see how they are related. Age and expenses have a correlation of 0.299. I am referring to the value in first row, fourth column. Then the relationship between BMI and expenses is a correlation of 0.198. That is second row, fourth column. And finally, the relationship between children and expenses is a correlation of 0.06, third row, fourth column. From this, we can clearly understand that there is no strong correlation between any of the variables. So strong correlation means the value should be greater than 0.5 or minus 0.5. Of course, you can ignore 1 because that is the diagonal value and it won't be taken into consideration. Other than the diagonal value 1, all the remaining values are less than 0.5. Also, interestingly, all the values in this correlation matrix are positive. In general, there can be negative values too. So positive correlation and negative correlation have different meanings. Positive correlation means directly proportional. That is, if one variable increases, the other one will also increase, and if one variable decreases, the other variable